This is Amud Yomi Gemara Berachos Daf Lamed Ches Amud Aleph, and we're holding towards the bottom of Lamed Zayin Amud Beis. We're approximately 10 lines from the bottom. The first word line is Deika. As the Gemara continues discussing different bread-like foods, now we're going to get involved in their obligation of challah. Says the Gemara. Turuknin. Turuknin is chayav in challah. What is turuknin? It's a type of bread, and we can explain in a moment what exactly it is more particularly. So we have a machlekes. Excuse me, not v'chein, that would be weird. V'chiyas aravin, it's potter. Machlekes if troknin are chayiv or potter. My troknin, says the Gemara, Amar Abaya, kuva de'ara. Kuva that is made inside of the ground. And Rashi explains, you pour flour and water into a hole in the bottom of the oven, and it's as if it bakes like in a pan. It's more of like a cakey type of substance. Says the Gemara of Amar Abaya, Teresa is ptura min achala. My Teresa, it's a batter that is scalded. You take the batter and it's put into, it's very loose batter that's put into something boiling hot. It spreads out. This is going to be some sort of like lava type of item as the liquid spreads out and then cooks on the oven. My Teresa, some say it's nama de hindiki, which is bread from India, which Rashi explains is on a spit. It's bread made on a spit with oil and stuff as it turns around. Bread that is made for kutach, which is a bread made for a dip. And Rashi says the chiddush here is that it's made in the sun, not in an oven. Tani Rav Chia, lechem also lekutach butter min achala. Aiva Tanya, we learned in the brayso chayiv bechala. Hasav kiditani taima. The brayso over there is different than what Rav Yehuda Imer Ma'aser v'chichon alav. That the ma'aser is machiach, that you could tell from the item. That what? A sign on the top of Lamed Ches Amud Aleph, ke'ovin. If you made it thick, if you made it like a roll, then chayavin in challah. Kilimudin, if you made it like a thin board, then turin, it's going to be potter in challah. On the top line of Lamed Ches Amud Aleph, Amrli Abayel Rav Yis, Hai kuva da'ara, kuva that is made in the ground. My mivarchin alei. What bracha do we make on it? Amrle misaras damu. Do you actually think it's bread? Kufla ba'almu. It's just baking dough. Varchin alei, and therefore you make a bayir name is zaynis. And again, I re-emphasize that the difficulty over here constantly is what is precisely the case. This is the difficulty that takes us from the Gemara through the Rishayim all the way down the halacha. Is figuring out the precise case, and that's part of the battle over here. So says the Gemara that what we're talking about over here is this kuva in the ground. It's a mizaynais. Marzutra kavas sudasa alei. Marzutra would be kaveh suda on it. Baruch lehem oitzlechem in haaretz shalosh brachos. As we know, many possible bekistins are mizaynais. Unless you're kaveh suda, then they become a haboiti. Amar Rabbi Ravashi. V'adam yatzidei chavasai bepesach. You can use them for matzah on Pesach. My time. Alechamani karinan bay. It's considered poor bread. V'amar Rabbi Ravashi. Hai dovsha de tamri. Date honey. My time. What's the reason why it is a shahakal? Zeya ba'almahu, says the Gemara, because it's merely the sweat, the moisture that comes out of the fruit. That's what this honey is, not the fruit itself. Says the Gemara, 8 lines down, the first one line is Kiman. Kiman, whose opinion is this? Ki haitani, like we learned in a brayso, a Mishnah. Titinan, tavash tamar v'yin tapucha v'chaymitz safavanios. If a Yisrael ate devash tamarim, date honey of truma, or yain tapuchin, apple cider, or chaymet safaniyos, or the grapes late into the season. In all these cases, v'sharmei peiros, any other fruit juice, shel truma. Rabbi Eliezer mechayiv keren v'chaymesh. Rav Yeshua, poiter. So we're going within the opinion of Rav Yeshua that you're going to be potter. Why are you going to be potter? Because it's not considered the fruit. On the fruit is a chiv if you eat them of truma, but over here they're just considered the zayah, the sweat, and therefore, just like we just learned from Rav Ashi, make a shahakol. It's like the opinion of Rav Yeshua that you be potter if you eat them as truma. Amar leah hu me'rabbanan l'Rav Cherima Mahu. What is the story with Cherima? Explains the Gemara. What exactly is Cherima? Lo aviyadaite derava my kamli. Rava didn't understand what was the shaila when the Talmud asked about Cherima. Yas Ravina kami derava. So Ravina was there, and Amar lei dishum shemi kamrit. He's talking about trima of sesame, oy dekurtzimi kamrit, or you're talking about trima of saffron, oy depurtzimi kamrit, or you're talking about trima of grape pits. They were not sure what the Talmud was talking about. Rava realized, remembered what the Talmud was referring to when he said trima. Amar Le, Rava said, Chashilta Vadekamri. You're talking about Chashilta, something crushed. Vadekartan Milsa Hadam Ravashi. And you reminded me, said Rava, of a din that I've learned from Ravashi, Asi, Hai Tamri Shal Tamura, the deeds of Truma, Mota Lasvin Tarima, Va'aser Lases Mehem Sachar Shechar. You cannot make beer from them. And this comes from the din that Truma is allowed to be eaten but not destroyed. And therefore, Ravasi is saying you're allowed to take the date out of, you're allowed to make, you're allowed to make terima, which is more of a date paste from the dates, but you're not allowed to make sheikhar, beer from them, because that is destroying it. And therefore concludes the Gemara of Hilchasa. Tamri vavetinu terima. If we have tamarim dates and you made them into terima, then what? You make a bayre priya eats on them. My time. What's the reason? Because they are as they were originally. They did not lose their form, and therefore their original ha'etz is going to remain. Yes, it's a bit of a paste type of item, but therefore it's not fully pulverized, and that's the reason why it's going to be a eitz. To be a little bit deeper, as it could be that even if it's fully pulverized, this is the derech how to eat it. Therefore, again, it's considered eating the peri, and therefore you will make a shahakol. Continues the Gemara with smack in the middle of the Amud. The first one line is b'mil say shetisa, another food. Rabbi Shekoni Avidvari Yeshua Ber name is Zainais. And of course, as we're seeing the constant machlokes about each and every food, we could realize that part of this machlekes is what exactly is the food. Amar Rav Chistav Leipligi. Here it is. Hab Ava. When Shmuel said he make a brave name is Zainais, is Ava is fit shatisa. Hadirako when Rav said shahakol is when it's loose fin shatisa. Ava la'achilad avdila. Thick shisa is made for eating. Raka l'rafua ka'avdila is made for rafuas, even though it's going to be the same ingredients, but because it's made and it's normal to be thick, more of an oatmeal paste type of item, therefore retains its original status of a grain, and you make a mezainis. But if it is liquefied and into a drink and it's more of a medicine, therefore it's going to be a shahakol. Masav Rav Yosef asks, Rav Yosef is shavin. But the Brisa says that everyone agrees. You got to mix up this shatos on Shabbos. You're also allowed to drink zeitum hamitzrim. If you're going to tell me that when you drink this shatisa, it's for refuah, why would it be mutter on Shabbos? Refuah b'Shabbos mishari. We know that's not true. We know you're not allowed to heal yourself on Shabbos. How can you tell me that if shatisa is a loose one of the Brisa said you're allowed to drink it on Shabbos? How could that be Amalei Abaya? V'alo tizbra. And you don't hold that shatisa, which is loose, which is thin, more of a drink, would be mutter on Shabbos for refuah v'hatanan. But we learned in a Mishnah an incredible rule, one of the biggest hatei Keirim in the world of refuah, and we remind ourselves we're talking about refuah of one with a michash, a low-level ailment. Of course, one who has a very high-level ailment will be a different story, but with a low-level ailment, a localized pain or an issue, you're not allowed to take medicine on Shabbos. Says the Gemara, but we have an exclusion to this rule, to this din derabanan. Kol ha'oichlin, any food, oichel adam l'refuah b'Shabbos. If it's a food, you're allowed to eat it, even if it's going to give you medicinal, therapeutic, and healing additions on Shabbos. Chomashkin traces say allowed to drink any drink. Elamayisach l'meimar. So what are you going to say that Brisa is referring to? Gavra la'achila kamechavin. It must mean when someone sees a person taking the shtisa, he thinks what he's doing, he is drinking it, not to heal himself. And therefore, that's going to be the sin over here, and that's going to be the case that it's mutter on Shabbos. The kasha was, it's refuah. Teretz says if it's refuah, but it's food, and it looks like food, then it is a mutter. Lishna achrina. Continues the Gemara with another lashon, how to learn what we're in the middle of saying. How are you going to explain the Mishnah? It only happens it happens as secondary is the refuah, but what he's doing is he's eating the food. Says the Gemara, and we need these dinim of Rav and Shmuel with regard to the bracha of shatisa. If it was just this brisa that says you're allowed to drink their shatisa on Shabbos, and if we would learn from there, if you could drink it, must be a shahakol, I wouldn't know that. I would have thought but with regard to the bracha, if your das, if your mindset is for refuah, maybe you want to make a bracha. Kamashlan, keep this like therefore we have to have the machlekes Rav and Shmuel that lamaisa you're getting benefit from it. Therefore you need to make a bracha. Machlekes whether you make a mizaynais or a shahakol. And we finish up today's shir. We're 4 lines from the wide lines, and we quote the Mishnah. Shalapasu Aimer Amoitzi Lachem Min Haaretz. Tanu Rabbanan Ma'u Aimer. What do you say when you eat bread? Amoitzi Lachem Min Haaretz. And the Chami Aimer Moitzi Lachem Min Haaretz with no hay. Amar Rava b'Moitzi K'liyam Lo B'li Dapik Mashma. The word Motzi, everyone agrees, is referring to the apik mashma, that he has brought forth in the past. Shema has brought forth lechem and aretz. Keep ligi, the machlekes over here is beha moitzi. Rabbanan Savri, the Tanakama hold ha moitzi dabik mashma also refers to in the past. And therefore that's the bracha. And the Chemi Savar, no, ha moitzi demapik mashma means in the present. Mitzrayim, and that's the reason why we want to say it in the past tense. Uve Rabbanan, and according to Rabbanan, that Ha Moitzi goes about in the past. Yisrael. The pasuk is Hashem is saying to Klal Yisrael, Kad Ma Pikna Lechu. When I take you out of Mitzrayim, Avina Lechu Milsa. I'm going to do something for you. Kechad Yaditu, that you're going to know that I know who Dapik Yeschom Mitzrayim, that I'm going to be the one that I am going to take you out of Mitzrayim. The Slivi Yadatim Kini Hashem Lekechem Ha Moitzi. We'll stop over here. We'll pick it up from the story of Mishtabchin that they praise Rabbanan Rav Zira in the next year, B'siyata Dishmaya.